Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we are talking about those Detroit Lions. And look, Jahmyr Gibbs, dog. Also, we can't forget about my roommate. Did shout out to him. I gotta give him credit because he was like, before we record that video, just give a shout out to David Montgomery because he's been fantastic when he has been healthy. And this team has been resilient. I felt like last year they had the same moxie and same moxie and chemistry going, but then some injuries derailed them. But this year, even though they've had injuries to like all sides of the ball, they've been able to keep punching. And like DMC, Detroit, what is it? Detroit Motor City, Dan Campbell, DC, what is it? DC. Somebody says it. I don't know what it is. I'm so dumb. But I want to hear you guys' opinions. This team last night, I know it was the Las Vegas Raiders. They haven't been fantastic, but it was a good win after going against the Baltimore Ravens. All right. And, I'm a Ravens fan. I'm a Ravens-Vikings fan. Okay. I was born in Minnesota, but raised in Baltimore, Maryland. Either way, here nor there. I live in, I'm looking at the Miami Dolphins Stadium right now. I live down here in South Florida. But either way, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Hit that subscribe button for more NFL and NBA content. I'm an independent journalist. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the fact that this team right now, when you look at them, they're 6-2. Dan Campbell's got this team running. Okay. They are, in terms of points forward, they're 8th in the league. Points against them, they're 17th. So this is a team that when you look at the squad, all right, they've been able to have a good balance of, 12 touchdowns in the air. They got themselves 11 rushing touchdowns, and as a team, they're the 5th best passing defense in the league, while also, 14th best passing defense and 5th best passing offense. And I've always thought, as long as you have a top 5 defense or a top 5 offense while having an accompanying top 15 offense or defense, that's what you need. Is like the basic recipe for a championship team. You need to be at least in the latter half of the league, or the upper half of the league, my apology, to be on both sides of the ball to be considered a contender. And that's what right now, through 8 games, a little bit under, I guess now with a 17 game schedule or 18 game schedule with 17 games we're doing, this would be just under half. And I know Jonah Jackson, David Montgomery are out. Frank Ragnow is still doubtful, and we still got some other guys like Malcolm Rodriguez, who I think he's an absolute dog, Malcolm Rodriguez, and he didn't play last night, but he's a big part of this team last year. And this year he's been a guy that he hasn't really played too much, and that just shows the depth that this team's gotten. Okay, the guy who was a key contributor last year, and Mr. Malcolm Rodriguez with Jahmyr, and let's move back to the offensive side of the ball, but just with a guy like Malcolm Rodriguez, who was awesome. Now you got Alex Anzalone, who is playing in front of him, Alex Anzalone, who was with the Pittsburgh Steelers before that, was freaking fantastic for them now. And they've got these guys who all play, I just feel like they're deeper, better. And the whole thing with Malcolm Rodriguez was to pivot back to David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Last year, we had Jamal Williams, and it would suck to see Jamal Williams leave, but David Montgomery, it's like every time he's played, he has a touchdown in one of those games. And they kept Craig Reynolds, who's been awesome. He's a good Swiss Army knife. But amon-ra, St. Brown, legit stud. He's catching bombs every day. The son of the Mr. Universe, right? The Olympian, John Brown, I believe. And right now, St. Brown has 57 receptions, 665 yards for a top 5 offense, in my opinion. Their offense is ranked 8, but in my opinion, they're top 5. They're right now, league ranking wise, top 10, and their defense league ranking wise is 17. So again, I think they are a good team. And you would say, the team's already rushed for 1,000 yards. They got themselves a good mix of rushers, and in terms of their leading rushers for the season, I believe is David Montgomery has 385. Jahmyr Gibbs now has 399 after this game. But like I said, Montgomery is the bruiser. And shout out Jared Goff for 2 TDs on the ground right now. And again, when you go even over to the receiving, you got Sam Laporta, who my roommate and I have been great. And this guy is absolutely an animal. And I feel like he has more than 4 touchdowns. He's catching everything. 73% catch percentage. And that's on literally Sam Laporta and amon-ra St. Brown both have 73% catch rate. That's absurd. Then you throw in Mr. Josh Reynolds, who's at 71. That's absurd. A lot of their guys, okay, on this team that have, if we're looking at least, I feel like you have to have, let's do at least 23 minimum targets, okay? Because that counts out Jameson Williams, Dave Montgomery, and the other guys. So Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, amon-ra St. Brown. I'm like, amon-ra St. Brown is just a mouthful. Am I saying that correct? I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I'm just gonna say St. Brown. But the whole thing is, every single one of these dudes has at least a 70+ catch rate. That's absurd. To have like Jared Goff basically knowing, when I throw it to my boys, we're gonna catch it. And that's really cool. I think that's like something that I feel like is going to be underscored, and that's why Jared Goff has a 68.3% completion rate. But when you also look at the rest of this team, that Jared Goff, franchise QB, they're not moving on from him. That's not happening. Okay, this is his team. I just think the Lions are a team that can get hot. They got the Chargers, Bears, Packers, like right there. They're at least going 2-1 in that 3-game stretch. Then the Bears again, that's 3-1. I feel like the Broncos look a little tough, so maybe 3-2 in that 5-game stretch. Vikings, I'm a Vikings fan, and I think we're gonna suck. We just traded for Josh Dobbs, and I don't even care. So 4-2 right there. They play the Cowboys. That might be hard. Let's just give it to the Cowboys. 4-3, and then Vikings again. That's 5-3. They can end the year 5-3. That means they would be 11-5. No, they'd be, I feel like I'm doing my math terrible. They still have how many more games? Yeah, I feel like they have the Saints in there too that I skipped over. Ooh, the Saints. Maybe they go 11-6 right there. 11-6 to end the year. I feel like that's really good. And it's crazy. And they still have, if Jared Goff somehow something happens to them, I really feel confident in Hendon Hooker. It's just the fact that they have so many, I guess, the consistency of this roster is incredible. And yes, I guess the defense isn't there. But when you got, Jerry Jacobs, Kirby Joseph, dog, and Brian Branch, Aiden Hutchinson, of course, baby. Aiden Hutchinson, who has 4.5 sacks, leads the team. You got McNeil right behind him, Alex Anzalone. I know someone named Megan Anzalone, same last name. She says Anzalone. They say Anzalone for him on the broadcast. I want to know which is the right one. So I like it. Okay. I like this team. I think they're doing good. And what are your guys' opinions? Are you guys on the same wavelength as me, or am I a little overzealous? Let me know.